Did the Thunder lose it?
Look, I'm fully aware that James Harden had yet another offensive clunker in a critical playoff game. And I got to be honest, he looked like he didn't want the three ball at all. The only time he looked like himself to me was after that block when he yelled into the crowd or whoever there was there into the stands. You know, that's the only time I saw that typical James Harden confidence and swag. But all that said, I'm still going to give the Rockets credit. And to me, they won the game. They didn't lose it, or OKC didn't lose it. The shocker is that they won it with their defense. At the end of the game, they took OKC out of everything it wanted to do. And remember, OKC was they were the best clutch team in the regular season down the stretch of games, and they couldn't run anything. That last play, I mean, first of all, they're lucky that Chris Paul's pass on the right wing didn't get stolen. Then they're scrambling. They get the ball to Lou Dort. I know he had a great game, but you know that was not the guy they wanted taking the last shot. And then on the inbounds, after a timeout, you get to draw up a play, and they can't inbound the ball. I have to credit Houston's defense. They force him to give it to Steven Adams at the three-point line at the end of the game. Obviously, Harden came up. I give him credit. He didn't get down on himself. He didn't hang his head because he didn't have it going offensively. Great block by him. I credit the Houston Rockets for stellar. Never thought I'd say that about a Mike D'Antoni team, but stellar defense.
Skip, Skip. Chris, I'll give you credit. The Rockets did play excellent defense. But what happened on that shot that Chris Paul missed in the lane at 6 feet? Was that great defense? What about those two blown layups?
It was scramble mode. He's got to hit that.
What about those two layups that Schroeder missed? Point blank range, just two layups, just flat out missed them.
Little contest.
I just think the thing is that in a situation like that, and I agree with you. I don't really like to take away from a team when they win, but if you beat me and I'm executing, I can live with that. And this is what OKC normally does in this situation. They normally execute down the stretch. And when you go 1 for 9 with 4 turnovers, and I'm trying to figure out, you mean to tell me Chris Paul is only going to shoot the ball one time in the final 8 minutes? After he starts with a hot hand in the fourth quarter, he gets one shot? Chris Paul. And 2 of those shots that he made were 3-pointers. And he switched them. Nah, I can't. Look, the Rockets were unbelievable. James Harden is bought in, and this is why they're playing so well defensively, because he's their best player. And your best player buys in, everybody else has no choice. We know P.J. Tucker is a defensive guy. We know Robert Covington. 2 years ago, he was first-team All-NBA. We get that. But you can't win with just 2 guys playing defense and everybody else lollygagging. And you definitely can't win. With the way James Harden played for his first 4 or 5 years in Houston, man, they'd have lost by 20 points because he didn't even care about defense. Now he's trying to block shots, he's contesting, he's boxing out. And the biggest thing I noticed, ever since Giannis slighted James Harden in the All-Star game, when he said he wanted to take somebody to play defense, and he's like, I want to, and when they lost the game, they said, we was going at James Harden. James Harden has been a different guy on the defensive end. We know he can score, but he's turned it around on the defensive side. No, he's not sitting in the chair. But as far as stealing the ball and getting deflections, but for me, I still believe the Thunder lost this one because they were uncharacteristically bad over the last 5 minutes of the ball game, where they've been historic over the last 5 minutes. They've been really great this year. So I'm gonna say the Thunder lost it as opposed to the Rockets more so winning it.
Chris Broussard, I have been trying to alert and convince my partner across the table for the last 2 months. Something is going on in Houston. In all my years of watching, covering the NBA, back to the days I covered the Lakers for the LA Times in the 1970s, pre-Magic, Kareem was there. I have never seen a superstar transformation like I've seen over the last 2 or 3 months that they played basketball from James Harden. He has gone from, if I don't have it on offense, I will play hellacious hard defense. I will be the driving force of our defense. All of a sudden, this team that used to rest on defense, the team, you know, the word dog now in the NBA has, there are two connotations to the word dog. You know, there's, you play like a dog on defense, meaning you're going to fight and scratch and claw. You're going to be a tough guy. There's also, you played like a dog, as in you played half-heartedly, you quit, you were lackluster, you didn't care. Well, that used to be James on defense. I love watching the Rockets play defense because they're so small. What's Covington, 6'7", maybe?
Yeah, he's the tallest guy, probably 6'7".
Okay, so you go 6'7" and below. And last night, a lot of times, James Harden wound up covering Steven Adams. He did. He took him a lot. 6'5" on 7 feet. And he played his tail off trying to keep Steven Adams away from the basket. He fronted him. He backed him. He fought him, scratched, clawed. They all play like dogs in a great way on defense. And I'm talking about PJ and Covington's made first-team all-defense before. Russ will play hard on defense. And all of a sudden, their identity is switched to defense. They are leading the playoffs in turnovers forced. That was a beautifully ugly game last night in the fourth quarter. And again, Chris Paul leading the NBA in clutch points. He was just having a hard time finding a shot. And when he finally did, in scramble mode, as you point out, Chris, find that little 7-foot little fall-away jumper in the lane, it seemed to startle him like, oh, wait a second, I'm finally open. And he short-armed it, and he left it on the front of the rim, and that was for the lead in the game, and it was huge. And I want to point out one last quick time, the shot of the night for the Houston Rockets was by P.J. Tucker, who's nothing but a corner three shooter, who got run off, and we could see it run off the three-point line, and he went up and under Steven Adams. Here we go. James kicks it to the corner. That's a shot. Nope, there's Steven Adams, and he shoots a running 12-foot jump shot. It's not in his repertoire, and he swished it, and that became the winning shot of the game with 1:25 left. And then if we could go to the last play on Dort, obviously it had been the Lou Dort Memorial game. He had made 6 3-point shots and had the hottest hand on the court, and nobody guards James better. I've never seen anybody shut down James Harden like Lou Dort can, because as Shannon and I spoke earlier, he's like a strong safety playing defense, 6'3", 220. James can't get an inch on him, can't get by him left or right, and he's all over him when he tries to step back, pull up. There's no shot. And yet, on the last play, the crucial play of the game, James Harden is guarding, if you can see, Steven Adams. And at the last second, he says, okay, I'm guarding him, but I got a bolt. And he runs all the way out and takes a flying leap at Lou Dort, the hottest hand on the court. And I thought, oh, he's going to make his 7-3 and they're going to win the game. And James goes sideways with his off arm, because he's left-handed, and makes a sweet, clean block